Welcome back to our 7-part video series on growing revenue through direct bookings. Um, I am here to walk you through part 4 of this series. And part 4 is going to be focused on building an actionable social media plan to drive more direct bookings for your business. I've been doing this for a number of years now for companies in the tour and activity space, and excited to share some of what I've learned helping companies drive direct bookings via social. So here's our strategic framework for driving direct bookings. This is the framework that we walked through back in the first video, and that Ben applied to search marketing. And we're going to apply it today to social media marketing. We've looked at the results from this study a few times. And the one thing that I want to highlight here before diving into applying our direct booking framework to social is the jump that we saw in people saying that they use social media as they research tours, activities, and attractions compared to 2019. In 2019, basically 1 in 10 people were saying that they use social in this research process. Now we're up to 1 in 4 people using social, and that was a year ago. I'd have to think that it has grown since then. So there's reason to take social seriously as a tour or attraction company. So let's start with just thinking about how your current customers use social media, and then we'll dive into what we can learn from how your competition is using social media, and then we'll dive a little bit into how we can kind of mine data based on how your customers are engaging with your social from an organic standpoint and from a paid standpoint. And then video 5 will be using these 3 things to build an actionable strategy to drive direct bookings via social. So really there's 2 types of people out there as it relates to driving revenue from social. You've got 2 broad categories of people that are on social media as it relates to that. One is the people who are actively researching either specific companies that they're interested in doing business with. You know, I'm traveling in the Colorado Springs area or in Denver, and I want to learn more about the Edge zipline or some other company that's near my location that I want to learn about. I'm going to jump onto Facebook, onto TikTok or Instagram just to get a pulse on what it looks like to do that adventure today. You know, they're expecting real-time photos and, you know, information about the tours within the last couple of weeks. That's one of the primary reasons that they would go to your channel. You know, what does it look like to, great, you're showing me these wonderful photos that look like they were all taken in July on the website, but it's January. Are you even open? What does it look like to do this course in January? They often they'll go to social to answer those questions. A trend that we're starting to see emerge, and Google has been reporting on this trend as well, is more and more people using social and TikTok specifically as sort of a search platform to find things to do near them or find things to do on vacation, and then visually just going through the results to find something that looks the most compelling or, you know, engages them, to kind of queue up ideas of things to do on vacation or once they're in destination. So then we have our passive interactions, or our other category of interactions here. And these are people that are just on these platforms. We know that people spend a lot of time on social media. It's just kind of part of our current age. Instagram, TikTok, Facebook kind of being the big players. People spend a ton of time on YouTube. Actually, I can't leave them out. And so there's a huge opportunity just to be a part of that passive interaction, inserting your brand into news feeds and stories and reels and search results in and of itself organically represents a pretty significant, and via paid represents a big opportunity. Obviously, the challenge here is driving engagement and action from these people, because they didn't go to social media to book a tour. They went to social media to, check in on their grandkids or to look at pictures of other people's pets, or, whatever the reason was for jumping onto social. And you have to convince them to do otherwise, right? Take an alternative route and put something compelling in front of them. That's another conversation. So that's a little bit about understanding your customers' behavior and kind of intent behind using social media. Now let's dig a little bit deeper and get into how we can learn from our competitive landscape to drive an actionable strategy for driving more direct bookings. First thing here is, where are your competitors? There are a lot of platforms out there that you could be on as a tour attraction or activity company. It can be really overwhelming to know which platform to spend your time on. Nobody has an infinite amount of time, and so you really have to prioritize and focus your efforts. And really, there's two ways to do this. You can get more sophisticated with it, but generally speaking, there's two principles that I like to apply. The first one being, where do you, or where does the person who's managing your social media like to spend time? Are they active TikTok users? Are they spending a lot of time on Instagram? Do they like to share on Facebook? That usually represents a good place to start, because you're already engaged with the platform. You understand how people are interacting with your personal posts. That should translate fairly well into posting for the business. If you want to get a little more sophisticated about it, and this is kind of principle two, or the other way that you can go about this, combined with the first one, is, where is your competition? Create a quick spreadsheet, put your top 5 to 10 competitors in the left and these platforms on the top, and just start to document. Are they on Pinterest, TikTok, Snapchat? How frequently are they posting? Is it daily, weekly, quarterly, once a year? What kind of engagement do they get on the posts? How many views are the videos that they're posting getting? And really quickly, you're going to start to uncover some realities that, well, you can think of them as realities that you're up against, or opportunities, right? If your number one competitor is posting videos on TikTok that are getting thousands and thousands of views, that represents a significant opportunity for your business to build a following on that platform. So doing a quick, 30-minute, 1-hour research process can really start to expose some opportunities for you as a business owner. What kinds of responses are your competition getting when they post on social? This is an old post towards the beginning of the pandemic, but Pigeon Forge Chamber posting that the Smoky Mountains are reopening. Really mixed response when you start to dig through the comments. Greg is really nervous. Are people going to follow the rules? Shirley is excited. Look at what your competition is posting and take cues from the summary of reactions. Are people upset about what they're posting? And then take a look through the comment feed that comes through, and let that inform your organic strategy. The things that are getting a lot of engagement may represent an opportunity for your business. What are influencers talking about? What are the kinds of things that people with huge followings, and what are the approaches that they're taking, and the types of videos that they're putting out there? And that might represent things that you can mimic and do yourself. What you're also going to find is a lot of influencers that are getting literally millions or hundreds of thousands of views on this. This is TikTok as an example, but you'll find the same thing on Instagram and YouTube in some cases. May represent really powerful partnerships for you as a tour or attraction or activity, to try to get into some of these videos, or partnering with an influencer to create a video kind of on your behalf. There's really sophisticated ways to do this. There's platforms that exist that will kind of give you a platform to reach out to influencers and allow you to collaborate and come up with a price that makes sense. And then you can just do the legwork yourself too, if you'd rather do that. And do the research, find an influencer who has a following with a high overlap with your target audience, and try to get them to come out and experience your tour and take a quick video and share it with their following. There's lots of different ways to creatively engage influencers, but represents a big opportunity as well as a signal to the type of content that your brand could be creating. This is one of my favorite ways to do competitive research on social media, and that is using the Facebook ad library as well as TikTok's, what do they call it? Creative Center, to see what other brands are advertising. You can look at specific companies. You can also type in keywords into here, and Facebook will serve up kind of more category level ads based on the keywords that you're putting in there. And you can get a sense of what kind of creative they're putting in front of their target audience. Are they running an offer? You know, if you're seeing a drop off in sales, it might be tied to a price decrease that your competition is promoting on Facebook. That doesn't mean that you should also decrease your price or run an offer necessarily, but it gives you a full scope of what your competition is doing and what they're paying to put in front of their audience. This is just a quick example. You know, seeing that AVA is advertising for new rafting guides in November might be a signal to you, if you're also a rafting company, to start your hiring process fairly early in the season and start to sort of drum up that demand and create that pool of applicants before kind of the early spring rush starts to happen. Like I said, you can also do this on TikTok. TikTok is kind of a fun platform to do this on, because you can do it by brand or product keywords. You can also filter in and just look at, you know, if you filter by industry, you can filter by the tour and attraction industry specifically and see all ads that are running within that category. Now, when you do this, don't get your hopes too high. There aren't as many people advertising on TikTok as are advertising on Facebook and Instagram. And so the results aren't going to be, you know, you're not going to see as many examples, I guess is my point here. But you are going to get some ideas about what some of the bigger brands are putting out there on TikTok, which can inform your strategy. You'll also notice that there's some other filters you can apply here, which are, this is different from what Facebook gives you access to. If you only want to look at, you know, conversion objective ads or video view objective ads, or if you want to sort, this one's really cool because it gives you a signal to performance. But if you want to sort by the ads with the highest click-through rate, show me those ones first, or the ads that have the highest 6-second view rate, show me those ones first. That can give you a good signal as to what is getting good engagement on the platform. So TikTok lets you dig a little bit deeper to kind of do your competitive research, which is helpful. You can see what your what kind of data your competition is collecting about their audiences by installing Pixel Helper. So Facebook and LinkedIn both have a Pixel Helper plugin that you can install. And, you know, if you jump over to your competition's website, go to the Pixel Helper, you can see, are they tracking users with Facebook or via LinkedIn? And if they have a Pixel, then they are. Whether they're using that data, well, then you have to go back to the Facebook ad library and see if they're actually running ads to those people, or to the TikTok library to see if they're running ads. But this is just gives you a pulse on, all right, this is a sophisticated competitor. They are collecting data. And then if you really wanted to dive in here and you're running ads on Facebook, you can look into the auction competition by diving in Ads Manager and see how the competition has varied. You know, every ad that you run on Facebook runs through an auction. If there's a lot of advertisers that want to advertise to the same audience, it's going to get more and more expensive to show ads to that audience. If there's less competition, it'll be less expensive. Facebook creates these really beautiful graphs showing you how competitive it is on average to drive a purchase or drive a click compared to your competition over time. So 0% kind of being average, and then higher than that being above average, lower than that being below average. So just a helpful pulse again. Okay, what can we learn or what data exists that we can use to build an actionable social media strategy? Really, the first place that you can look is in Facebook Audience Insights. You're going to see a lot of helpful info in here, one of which is just what your gender mix looks like between men and women at different age ranges on Facebook and Instagram. You can take a look through your organic posts and see which of your posts are getting the most reach. Reach is a really kind of underrated metric as it relates to organic metrics. The posts that have the highest reach are often the posts that have the best performance, right? Facebook and Instagram are going to show posts to a broader audience if they start to take off and if they start to get shared. And so the organic posts that you're not putting money behind that have the most reach are often the posts that you want to find ways to replicate or do more content like that. And then of course, you can also look at likes, comments, and shares and sort by that. And that'll also give you a sense of what people are engaging with. Google Analytics is a useful platform to look at how many sessions are coming to my website from different social networks. And then you can actually look at revenue by social network source and even think about that as days or in the context of how many days before they converted did they interact with Facebook and how much revenue came in because of that interaction. So just some cool ways to dig deeper into the data that does exist. In the next video, well, before I talk about that, I just want to acknowledge that there were a lot of things that we didn't talk about. I would say, just even as I was going through my data slides, there were a number of things that came to mind that we could have dived deeper into. There's a lot of customer insights that you can mine on LinkedIn or on TikTok, mostly as it relates to paid efforts, but also as it relates to organic efforts. So, I'd love to talk with you more about that, but obviously our time is limited on this video. Part 6, or is it part 5? Part 5 will be about using the info that we just kind of talked through by looking at your customers' behavior, competitive landscape, and your data to build an actionable social media strategy focused on driving direct bookings for your brand. So that's what's coming. I really appreciate your time and excited to jump into part 5 next.